MeTV 24 Meridian proudly presents your favorite way to start the day. Welcome to Mornings with Scotty Ray and Candace.
And good morning from Scotty Ray and Candace as we begin a Friday. This is the 4th of July weekend. We do hope it's a good one for everyone.
Hope everybody stays safe and makes good decisions. Yeah.
I have to start off this morning with an apology from yesterday to Scott McQuaig. A few months back, we upgraded and we got a new thingamabob over here that everything runs through, a new board. And yesterday was the first time I've had anybody come back and sing. We done Scott's album premiere here, sang, it went great. And then as we were live, I figured out that the guitar was not picking up very good. And because these are noise cancellation, and it just canceled out the guitar. So we now have new microphones ordered for guitar playing on the way. That won't happen again. So my apologies for yesterday. And who's the friend that you got over here with you?
Me?
Yeah, who do you think I'm talking
What you talking about? I was like, well,
Who else would I be talking to, Candy?
yeah, I'm not with it today. This should have been a Monday night.
And there was a moment of silence.
I'm sorry.
Chief of Police Chris
Yes.
Reed joins us.
Yeah, we do have him here today, and we're thankful to have him here. He's got some information to give everybody.
Chris, am I seeing right, because I didn't get a chance to see Candace before she walked. Is she wearing a tube top? Did I miss something?
I am not. I have straps. Thank you.
The first one of the season? The tube top has arrived. That's what it looks like.
It's actually a jumpsuit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just hadn't seen
one piece things.
a tube top in years.
You won't see me in one either. I've never worn a tube top, and I ain't gonna start it at 47.
They used to be really, really popular throughout the South. Is all. Look at that look she's giving me.
Yeah. That would look dangerous on me. That would look like a walking violation.
Oh, have mercy. But the 4th of July weekend is here. And let me pull this up, because there are a lot of fireworks shows that are going to happen this weekend. We want everybody to know about the ones that are going on. And let me find my, over here. Let me get down to where we are, where we can show all of these this morning of what's going to be happening. The big one is going to be Meridian. This is going to happen the 4th of July. The gates open at 3 o'clock to Bonita Lakes. Vendors will start serving food around 4 o'clock. And I think fireworks are right at dark 30, aren't they?
Yeah. And what time does it get dark now? It's late.
Yeah, it's around 8:30, 8:45. It starts getting that. So I would assume probably around 9 o'clock that they'd start setting them off.
So enjoy that. It's free. Doesn't cost anything. And I assume the shuttle is still going from the mall over like we have in the past, the trolley. That's an easier way to get in and out instead of the congestion. Or you can walk, however you want to do that.
Now, a lot of people used to park up at the mall. Is that still going to be okay to do? Or
yeah, they're still going to do that, like he was saying, that we're going to have a shuttle bus, basically, picking people up that decide to park from the mall. A lot of people park on the back side of the mall and set up chairs there. And
That's what I was,
they're able to see it. So they'll still be able to do that as well.
Okay, I just didn't know if that was going to be recommended or y'all kind of.
They can.
So who gets to light the match and go over and do this?
A certified firecracker lighter.
And I don't know how you get to be a certified car, because I've heard that before.
Say it 3 times fast. I'll give you.
No, I'm not. I'm not going there.
Look, one year we went. I think it was the last time we went. And we got our vehicle, all parked just right, backed it in exactly where we wanted it and everything so we could see. And we had parked up kind of by the mall.
Yeah.
And, of course, we're sitting there and one of the kids, I got to go to the bathroom. I'm like, are you serious right now? So we have to go down the hill to the McDonald's, Yeah. We go in the McDonald's. By the time we get up there, it's over. I'm like, are you? Oh, my gosh.
So I figured you were going to say a motorhome.
No, it was over. I was like, oh my gosh.
It was so exciting. Next year, let's do this again so we can go right at the right time, see the inside of the bathroom of McDonald's.
We could hear it. We just couldn't.
Always carry a bucket with you for in case of emergencies with a kid.
Like, you better go before we leave the house.
Another fireworks show that is coming up, if you are in the Quitman area, this is going to be out at Archusa. It begins at 9 o'clock tomorrow night on Saturday night, July 3rd. $10 a car to get in, and that's to help pay for the fireworks of what they're doing out there. Also, we'll run over to Turkey Creek in Decatur. They're also, the volunteer fire department's going to be whipping up food for everybody. $10 a car there also. So that's Saturday night also. And then if you've got one in your own backyard that you think is great, let us know so we tell everybody to come by and watch your stuff.
Don't you know there'll probably be people packed up in vehicles coming through there? Goodness.
And Ricky Bobby is also doing fireworks out at Why Not during intermission. Go out Why Not Motorsports Park. They always do that each year.
Yeah.
I saw Rodney trying to get them all together and get them in his truck. And he says he's got professionals.
I hope the weather cooperates.
Oh, it is. No 0% chance of rain. We're good this year.
Good. Because I was hoping it would stay dry.
It's going to be perfect for all of that. A couple of things in the headlines this morning that I wanted to mention this. One of the sprinters, and I brought this up earlier this morning. What has happened to and I want to say the morals of America, of where we go. We have an Olympian star who's going to be in the sprint. And you would think that somebody that is in the Olympics, they've got a team around them, they coach them, this is what you got to do. And we've got a Olympian that has failed the drug test. Marijuana is what it is. They will test again. Then we've got number 2 that turned her back on the American flag, who we now find out who is sponsored by a group that defunds the police.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if everybody's seen the headlines this morning on all this.
Well, I feel like this is just like an activist type movement.
Well, it's exactly what that is.
Like, because they had pictures of her years ago holding a flag up like she's proud to be an American. But, I think people just jump on the bandwagon. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Here's the headline from this right here from this is from Daily Mail. Flag snubbing U.S. Olympian Gwen Berry is sponsored by Defund the Police Advocates of Color of Change, which applaud the controversial activist athlete for her leadership. That's your headline this morning across America. So just thought you might want to know that as you begin your day of what's out there.
Yeah. I mean, I think people have the right to say or do whatever they want to. Don't get up on the stage to represent America if you're going to just be disrespectful of it.
Well, you got a point there. That's where if this country bothers you that bad, don't represent us.
Right.
Step down, let the next guy that's proud to be an American jump up there and do that. That's my thoughts. Yeah. And I feel like there's a lot of people, whether you're watching in Meridian, Mississippi, you're watching us from New York, Houston, Nashville this morning, that you agree with that statement. There's a lot more people with patriotism out there than it is of those that want to defund and run down America. There's some strong Americans that still have that pride in their hearts. And the 4th of July is what this is all about. There's so many people. And Chris, you served in the military.
Well, I never served in the military. Been in law enforcement since '99, but I actually went to Iraq through the State Department, and I did contracting work through them. But I've been around the military basically my whole life.
But you were in Iraq.
Yes, aviation contract with the NAS Meridian for about 12 years, and then I was in with the State Department for about 4 years in Iraq. So we're just living in this day and age. We're living in this day and age where everything is being attacked. But the old saying that you've heard, the silent majority, there actually is a silent majority.
There is.
That silent majority just does not get up and blow up and then and spew out hate or anything like that. There's more people that support military, law enforcement, and the good than there are those that do not. Those that do not, you just hear their voice. It's kind of like this. Those that hate the police and can't stand us and belittle us and defame us and all that, they're the first ones that'll pick up and dial 911 when something's happening. When someone's breaking in their house, they're going to call us, but they're still going to hate us. It goes with the territory.
But don't you agree, though, that the silence that's happened all, in the past and that's happening now, I mean, I think that people need to start speaking up in support.
I agree.
Because, I mean, that might have worked a little bit throughout the years, but it's come down to the wire now. Right. I mean, something needs to be done, and people need to stand up.
You're seeing that now. The major cities and states that support the defund the police, when that whole movement started probably about a year and a half ago and just kind of exploded. Now you're seeing those same cities. One of them in particular has an 800% rise in violent crime. 800.
That's huge.
% in violent crime. And now you have people going, we need help. We
Right.
need help.
Yeah.
No, you're the very ones that said do away with it. And then so that's why you have such a shortage in law enforcement, because you're hated. Then they pull that support, that funding from law enforcement agencies, and then so they start leaving by the groves. And then now people are going to help us. We need help. What do you want?
Right. So that's and let me warn y'all of the next step, because I see the writing on the wall. I don't know if y'all been watching all of this, and we'll compare Mississippi to it later. But more and more, I sit here each day and I look for stories that we talk about each day. There is a push from the left that want the American flag gone, the stars and bars done away with. The second thing that they want is the national anthem, and they are gaining more and more ground each day because the silent majority isn't saying anything. And with the blink of an eye, Old Glory will be gone. And that's not far-fetched. If you'll remember, Trump made a statement, if you let this happen, there's going to be a next step. And that is happening over and over across America. And we're going to wake up one morning without a flag.
Yeah.
Right.
And how do you stop it? It's how you vote is how that goes down.
And when we say stand up and join together, I mean, I don't condone violence. I'm not talking about violence at all. I'm talking about just have a voice and speak up and have a backbone and stand your ground for what you believe. I mean, I don't think that you have to be violent to do that.
No, you can have a voice and speak up.
That's right.
It's like the PTA.
That's right.
Go down and tell them what you think.
Yeah. I mean, because when you just sit back and go, oh, well, they'll take care of it, or, they're going to speak up, or, that's not happening.
No.
It's not. And they're targeting our children, in a lot of ways. I mean, with all this critical race theory stuff. I mean,
not all politicians are great people. They really don't. They say one thing to get elected. When they get in office, they do it a little different.
Well, look,
we know how that is on a national level.
Look at the administration that's in there. I mean, he went right in and started doing away with people's jobs. I mean, these were people who had families and in the middle of building homes, and they lost their insurance, and I mean, it's just all kind of stuff. And it was just kind of like at the stroke of a pen, it was their life was just completely changed.
And we have not really seen the effects of what's going on yet, because the government's been handing out so much money.
Right.
All of that's going to wean off eventually, and then we're going to be in a mess. But that's something to watch. Yeah. So we've got that on the way. We're going to talk to Chris over here about what's going on in our area, crime. What's being done about it? Chris has got some thoughts that he wants to pass along to us. So don't go anywhere as we get ready to talk about that. Right now, let's talk about our friends about Chet's Paint and Body. This is in Center Hill. And if you want your car done absolutely right, back to the way it was when you got it, talk to Chet. Chet's located right there in the curb in Center Hill. This is one of the vehicles that he's working on there that's in the paint and body shop. They take that extra time to do it right, to get out any flaws that may be there. This is a before and after here of a F-150 that came in. It's got a little ding there. On the right as it's fixed, a Mustang. Now, as we keep going this is one of the things that is done. These new Ford trucks that have the aluminum beds. Well, that's hard to fix. They've got all the equipment to handle it. If you want yours repaired and done correctly, see Chet. He can do that. They've got, this is a GMC that was also fixed through there. This is the paint booth that you go into. It's going to bake the paint on. One of the best that's around. Chet can tell you more about it. They carry great paint that will last and last. This is the office when you pull up. Drop in and see them. Now, next week, the body shop part will be closed. The office will be full-fledged open if you want to come by and get a quote. They'll handle all your insurance claims. And if you want somebody, it boils down to this, of honesty.
Right. And they even work with your rental car companies, because I know this firsthand. I've had to use them many times because of deer.
And things of that nature.
But yeah, you can trust them. They do a fantastic job, and like I said, they work with rental car companies, and they get you taken care of.
That's Chet's Paint and Body, Center Hill. Call them at 737-2961 today.
I was injured on my job, and I applied for Social Security, but I got denied.
I thought that money belonged to me if I got hurt on the job. I just want to know how to get my money.
I'm attorney Richard Schwartz. Let me go to work for you and get the money you deserve.
Richard Schwartz cut through all that red tape, and now I'm approved and getting my benefits.
Call me, Richard Schwartz, and get the answers you need and the compensation you deserve. We know the law, and we know how to help you.
And welcome back to Scotty Ray and Candace. As we begin this Friday, it is the 4th of July, and I'd have thought about it. Over to my left, we've got the American flag. We should put one behind us this morning. I wasn't thinking.
Yeah, well,
as we celebrate that. As we mentioned and teased, this guy here, and we'll do a close-up on you. There he is right there, the Chief of Police of Meridian, Mississippi, Chris Reed. Now, without a doubt, every town has crime. You've been in office how long now?
Going on 8 months, but multiply that tenfold because it was during an election period.
Yeah, that's rough.
Right. So, yeah, once again, whenever I took it, I knew that I would be at the will and pleasure of the mayor. So that goes with the territory. Yeah, and especially when you're in law enforcement, public safety, it's so polarizing anyway. And I think I've mentioned it before that any mayor-elect that comes in and that's running for mayor, the three things that they're always going to discuss, and even not only on the local level, state level, but the national level, is infrastructure, community development, and public safety. Those are the three polarizing subjects that they always run on. And because there's always room for improvement in those three areas, but especially law enforcement now, it is so polarizing. I think it's basically taken over the number one spot for the most talked about things, just because what's going on nationally, defunding the police and all of these things. So yeah, it's a tough job. It is. It's a tough job. I mean,
I bet it is.
But whether I'm here the next 4 years, the next month, next week, I refuse to lose. I'm going to keep doing it no matter what. I understand that I serve at the will and pleasure of the mayor, but we're going to continue to do our job. We're a family. We know that nationally and for the most part, a lot of folks just that they have hate. They're going to hate no matter what. They're not satisfied no matter what. But there is support out there, especially in Meridian and Lauderdale County. It's actually just blown my mind at the support and that silent majority that we were talking about. I have so many calls and texts and people coming up and says that we appreciate what y'all are doing. And, we cannot stop crime. It is a heart problem. I've said it before. I'm going to continue to say it. People love evil better than they love good. It shouldn't surprise anyone if they read God's word. It shouldn't surprise them that it's happening. So we're just dealing with the consequences of our own sin, and then and I'll get in a little bit about discussing about what I think the issues are and what the problems are.
And let me ask this. This is one of those things to where we need to address this. The other night, Meridian, Mississippi, I started getting reports of there's been a drive-by shooting of some sort.
Correct.
And that did happen in Meridian. We're going to show the video of what police are up against, just to show you, because we've got cameras in Meridian, Mississippi now.
Correct. Yes, we have over 64 cameras. Some of those camera systems or camera heads have 4 camera heads in one unit, and they have different functions. They have one for the LPR, which is a license plate reader capability, and we have other cameras for the gunshot detection. And I would assume that those would be going off like crazy this weekend.
Yeah, so expect that.
Yeah, so expect that. But yeah, and those camera systems are just a very huge asset for us as far as logistics. It doesn't stop the crime, but it deters and prevents a lot of crime. And then if those crimes are still committed, we're able to capture that for our investigative purposes and get the evidence that we need to hopefully identify the individuals involved in that. And we've done that since we have had them installed in the past 6 months. We've actually solved several crimes based on that, even though I don't publicize that, but we still utilize it. So it's a huge resource.
Let's go to, and let me pull this up here for everybody to see here. This is Highland Park, and I'm going to hit play on this. And this is the crime scene that happened the other night. And let me go ahead and hit play here. This is what goes on as we pull up here. This black car is what you want to watch. It's tinted out windows. It's a Crown Vic. It's pulling up here. They're getting ready to step out. Door opens here. And now if you'll notice, every one of them have guns. Do y'all see that? That's a rifle or a shotgun that he's toting here. The rest of those have pistols, and they're looking at the crowd up here across the soccer complex. Okay, now pay attention to what happens. They're closing the driver does not close the door. He's shooting, and the black car there is hit. The lady that's driving that car is struck by bullets by him shooting across the pasture there at the other people. What happened after y'all got this?
Yeah, so when we received the call about shots fired in the Highland Park area, I have about a 5-minute video of that from the surveillance cameras. Probably, I say 38 to 39 seconds. You have law enforcement pull on scene. They were actually in the area, riding around in the area. So just to kind of explain about what you actually saw in that video, those 4 individuals, obviously they've been identified. We've arrested one of them, the driver, but they had pulled up in this at Highland Park because there was an event going on.
Right.
So they were looking across a field because there was another several members of a local gang. And we're talking about, the little gang affiliation members. We're talking about individuals from 17 to 20, 21, 22 area. And so they get out and they're just kind of posing. And then they leave and come around that other vehicle stop, all get out again with their guns, standing there, showing off, posing. And then as they get in, they start pulling off slowly. He leaves his driver door. And as they're pulling out, his intentions is to shoot back at the other individuals that they were posing at. And as he's shooting back, and they were going to flee the scene, shooting back, there was a car that was leaving, trying to get out. And that was the woman that as he was shooting back, he shot into the windshield. It grazed her head, and that was the one that was airlifted that night to Jackson because she was conscious, she was speaking, and but she had a brain bleed. And so they were just wanting to check that out. But that just goes to show you that they do not care. They
have
just
no
don't
regard
care.
for life, no regard for other people.
No regard, because that she was hit there, and in the crossfire there was another vehicle that was there in the park just to enjoy the event. Child, a 5-year-old, between 4 and 5-year-old, was in his mother's car in the back seat, in the car seat, and a round went through the back door and hit him in the hand. The back of the hand came out the front of it, and the bullet went through his finger. So,
but is he okay now?
No, he's fine. I actually saw him and his mother and aunt. They came to the station yesterday and was speaking with us. And she came up to me. She said, "Chief, will you please get him?" And I said, "Just stand by." I said, "I'm fixing to get him." And I said, I don't care what kind of ridicule I get, because it just goes with the territory that I'm gonna hammer them. If you choose that lifestyle, there are consequences to follow that lifestyle that you choose. I would hope that you wouldn't choose that, but if you do it, when I catch you, not if, when we catch you, I'm going to prosecute you to the fullest.
Now, and for years, and I think most people that watch this would agree that it's been kind of like pushed to the back. Anytime the word gang has been brought up, well, we don't really have that problem here in Meridian.
Yeah, when it first started happening, it seemed like that's, we knew that there were gangs, but people were going, we don't have gangs here.
Look, we've had gangs throughout time.
Right.
Okay. Throughout time, there's been gangs, whether you called them a gang or not. We've had gangs throughout time. Mm-hmm. And so this is a group of people that come together to feel like they have one common goal. All right. And that one common goal in all gangs, I don't care if it's mafia, I don't care what it is. One goal is the almighty dollar. Mm-hmm. What can I do, whether legal or illegal, all right, to get just a little bit more? Period. That's it. It's the almighty dollar. So yeah, Meridian's had gang problems in the 70s and 80s, 60s and 50s. Yeah, but the only reason it's so polarizing today, and crime is so polarizing today, and I've said it before, is the almighty social media.
Yep.
Instantaneous live stream, pictures, images. Somebody is videoing, somebody's taking pictures at Highland Park when that's going on. And then in North Meridian, someone's purse got stolen. They're instantaneously putting it on Facebook and posting those things, and they're hearing all this going on now. It's instant versus having to wait 12 hours for the 6 o'clock news or to read the newspaper. I did say that right. We hadn't said newspaper in so long. We still have that?
Yeah,
it's not many.
Somebody asked the question, how long before, and I was going to kind of get to that too. Like, a lot of people think, oh, well, they arrest them and then they're just going to put them back out on the street. That's what I've heard a lot of people say. So I don't think y'all just put them back out on the street. I'm not saying that, but that's what somebody says. How long before they're back on the street?
Right.
So
Well,
like, what's the process? I
Right.
guess is what-
Different crimes have different things. So when I've had this question asked a lot, because we see a lot of repeat offenders. Okay. Law enforcement, we enforce the law. We make the arrest. We charge the individuals. The system has bonding options. But based on the severity of the crime, if I charge someone with tampering with evidence, they're going to get a bond. The only time that they usually do not get a bond, and that's something that the judicial system decides. The judge, I'm not a judge. We're law enforcement.
Right.
We enforce the law. We pick up the individual, process them, and then they have their day in court. They have their initial appearance, then they have a preliminary, and then whether they plead guilty or not guilty, decide when the court date is. And so it's our system. If we arrest somebody on a felony and they bond out on that felony, all right, and then they commit another felony during that time that they're out on bond, then that's the only time they'll get a no bond, because they were currently out on a felony bond.
That makes sense.
Wouldn't it be
makes
great
sense.
if you could make them like with the ankle bracelet stay at the house until they had their day in court?
Yeah,
I mean, that would be great.
and that's
track.
and we have that system as well. But bottom line is they're creature of habits.
Yeah.
They're gonna try the system. Perfect example. These individuals that we identified that were involved in this Highland Park shooting and retaliation. That 2 or 3 of those, a couple of them had just recently gotten out on ag assault.
Just out and then done it again.
Yeah, on aggravated assault, which is a felony, but they were out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I really wish that we had like stricter punishments. Other countries, you steal something, they cut off a finger.
Well,
I mean, I really wish we did.
I agree with
there's
you
nothing to do.
100%. You look at the crime rate in the Middle East.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then people say, well, that's what separates the United States from all these other third world countries and stuff. It's true, but it is getting to the point. I've even had individuals say to me when they've come in on a heinous crime where it says, "I'll be out in a couple hours."
Well, while
Just go ahead,
you're changing everything else in the country, let's change the penalties
Right.
to make them like where you don't want to do that. I might not do that because I'm gonna pay
And all
for
this
it.
goes back to these politicians that promise, and then they get there and then they do nothing.
Well, that just goes to show you. I'm not going to say all politicians because I have a good friend who is a politician. I'm not a politician.
Yeah.
And I used to say I hate politicians. They usually tell you what you want to hear until they get in office, and they do completely opposite.
Right.
But the reason I say that is because I'm a firm believer in no one man can change a nation. All right. No one man can change a local government. No one man, a department head, can change a department. It takes a collective group of people. And so you have an executive branch, but you also have a legislative branch. You have Congress. You have senators. So it's important that, I'm not saying get involved in politics, but it's important to really listen to what their ideas are and how firm they stand on it. But usually, for the most part, and we've seen throughout time that once politicians get in there, they start caving a little bit.
Yeah.
Why do they start caving? Well, I don't want to lose those votes.
And that's just one of those things.
It's just one of those things.
What do we see from Meridian as we look at all of this, the crime that's going on? You've made changes. What is next? What is the Meridian Police Department? Where are you leading them?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Meridian Police Department from 8 months ago, and like I said, I've been there 23 years, minus 4 years with the State Department in Iraq. But people on the outside looking in, they see issues. Look, every department has issues. We've had issues. Just in the last 8 months, we went through a period before I came in, and it has nothing to do with me, but I'm just setting up the time frame. When I came in, we had gone through several interim acting chiefs during the former administration. And so what that caused a huge instability within administration within that department. Whenever you have instability in the administration, there's going to be chaos and instability in the detective division and the patrol division, all your different divisions within the police department, because the individuals don't know what direction we're going. They don't know, who their leader is and things of that sort. They don't know what their ideas are, because it created such chaos. And it was frustrating. It was frustrating to me, but I just realized that I said, I'm not going to give up. Look, I could have left during the second, third, fourth, or seventh interim chief.
Right.
I could have left and made more money, but it wasn't about that. It was, and I've been fortunate and blessed to have options, but it was the fact of this: if I'm not going to do it, who's going to do it? Who's going to step up to the plate? And for the most part, a lot of individuals didn't want to take that because they wouldn't be protected under civil service, which is like a glorified insurance policy.
Right.
That we have a civil service process that you have to go through. You can't just let someone go or fire someone. And a lot of people didn't want to do that because they said, my goodness, we're going to take a chief of police position who's at the will and pleasure of the mayor. And in 7-8 months, you're in an election period. You don't know who the mayor is going to be. You don't know who the department head's going to be, and all the. And I just said, I don't care. I've been there 20-something years. I've got a vested interest in Meridian. I'm a citizen just like everyone else.
Right.
I'm just doing the job. I've been a Lauderdale resident for 33 years, and I have 2 beautiful girls. And that was just my mindset. I said, hey, I refuse to lose. Let's do it. Let's move forward. And instantaneously, within the department, not outside, but within the department, there was the morale had changed. It turned around, and I knew once we found out who our mayor was going to be, I knew that I'd get an influx of officers that wanted to come to work to Meridian and also wanted to come back to Meridian.
Yeah.
But they weren't going to make that decision until they knew who the mayor was going to be, and they knew who the department head was going to be, and they knew what direction the police department was going to be. I had been receiving calls. Look, a week prior to the June 8th election, they kind of saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah, it was obvious.
On the mayor. And my goodness, the calls. Look, just that week, that we hired 3 lateral transfer officers that wanted to come to Meridian, 2 that are in the process of coming to the detective division that had 10+ years law enforcement experience. 4 of them are going to the academy in the next couple of weeks, and then we gave a entrance exam where 9 or 10 people took it. So it's just a huge influx. And then especially after the June 8th, where it was confirmed, people would just started calling. Well, that's unheard of, especially in the South, and especially how law enforcement is so polarizing as far as the short manpower and things of that nature.
It is.
That people are actually coming to Meridian. It's just different options and stuff. Look, Meridian is an awesome place to be. All right. The reason you don't know what's going on in Laurel and York and Demopolis and Hattiesburg and all of those things, Brandon stuff, because you don't follow their social media and their local news.
Yeah.
Same thing happening there as it is here.
Correct.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, I think Meridian has been thirsting for this, for change, and for, they've been wanting this for a long time. I mean, I know I've worked with the public every day. I have customers, and I hear other people talking in the shop, and when anything like the crime thing, when like a shooting happens and everybody's talking about it, I mean, you hear everything, and everybody has been wanting change.
Correct.
They've been, and I think it's a great thing that people are starting. Well, I think a lot of people have always backed the police,
Yeah.
But people are really starting to stand up for that.
Look, that is the key. I'm going to tell you this. We've always been dealing with crime. We've always been making arrests. We've always been fighting the system, the judicial system, and things of that. We've always been fighting repeat offenders. The one thing that I have seen that I haven't seen since I've been at Meridian Police Department, I'm not talking about any other former administrations, and I'm telling you this, and I'll say it again, it is not about Chris Reed. It is not about. The first time I start trying to advance Chris Reed and elevate Chris Reed, I'm going to fall flat on my face.
Yeah.
But the biggest change that I have seen in Meridian since being at Meridian Police Department is the partnership that we have received from the community. And the only reason that we have been successful in combating crime is because the community has partnered with law enforcement. And that was a big drive for me. That's the first thing that I said as soon as they confirmed me is I want to get the public's confidence back in law enforcement. The only way to do that is for me to be in the community and the community to partner with us. And that's the biggest change that I've seen. Look, I know we're still going to be disliked and people call and complain. 98% of the time that they've ever had encounters with law enforcement has been a negative encounter. We deal with people's tragedies, costing them money, things of that nature. Well, I've tried to change that mindset, and I have to start inside the department, cleaning our own house and building a new foundation, and building from that is start having a positive encounter with the community. Get out in the community and have positive encounters. Get out, sit on the porch, some elderly man cutting the grass, sitting on the porch, sit down and say, tell me about life, tell me about history. I want them to know you by your first name, and your first name is not officer.
Right.
You know, start doing that. And I've seen that huge change in the community.
Kind
So
of
I'm
back
excited.
to the basics.
Back to the basics.
The way things used to be, and get involved and know.
So, average Joe that's watching here, that as you say, you want the community involved. What does the average Joe out there that's watching that sees something go on that wants to protect their community? What do? How do we start making criminals pay for what they've done?
Yeah.
What does average Joe got to do?
Perfect example of community involvement is this. We hit a huge theft ring, and we still have other suspects identified. They're creature of habits. If they want to continue to do that, they're going to, but there are consequences. And so we're fighting against the system. All right. And we're also fighting against the criminals. So it's a hard job. But a perfect example of the community actually getting involved is, and I started putting these individuals, all you ever heard about law enforcement was negative, 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 negative. All right. Bad, 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 bad. They're not doing enough. And so we were making arrests. We were processing. We were trying to put criminals behind bars. But you never heard that. You never saw that. I said, look, I'm fixing to start putting these people on blast. If you choose that lifestyle, then this goes with the territory. And the reason I started utilizing, say, like Community Watch, your program, and starting putting these individuals out there so the community could say, hey, I have camera surveillance system, ring, doorbell, I know that person. That person last month broke into my place. And then I have a video picture or image of that individual, and then they contact me. And then I tell them, come down and sign charges on this individual because we have the identification and we have the evidence. Sign charges on them because I can't physically sign charges as a law enforcement agency. You're the victim. You're the one. And so the community started doing that. It has been mind-blowing.
That's great.
And businesses who wouldn't do it before, I was just wasting our time or whatever. I can't get that property back anyway. I filed it on my insurance or whatever. But it doesn't change that if there are no consequences because you're choosing not to come down and file charges on them, then they're going to keep doing it because there are no consequences. And you say, hey, I got it made.
Yeah.
A lot of truth to that.
And so the community has gotten involved like that.
More coming up with Chris in just a moment. As we turn to talk about the Lauderdale County Farm Supply, exit 151. Now, anything that you might be looking, this is one of the things as they're getting ready for the fair. Yeah. Shrimp and grits and chicken salad mix. If you're looking for a knick-knack to take along, they got it for you. And can't you reuse those bags for other things?
I don't know. My grandmother used to reuse.
That's the great thing about getting things at the farm supply. As we go through this, of course, hay, if you're looking, as we skipped over the picture there of all of the overalls and jeans that you may need, they've got that for you. Also, the grass has been a thing. Yep, you have to keep it watered this year. And if yours doesn't have any centipede, St. Augustine, they've got plenty of this for you to come take advantage of. Springtime has already arrived and the gardens are growing. If you need more seed, replant something or fertilizer or triple 13, they've got that, including your ferns for your front door and your pets. That's one of the big things they do. If you need down to a bowl, you got a new pup, or maybe your bowl has come up missing. My dog's toted them off before. I have to admit it. If you need something for that pet, they've got it for you, including all of this that deals with keeping away snakes, ants, and critters in the yard.
I saw a snake glue trap. I don't know who'd use that.
Now, I've never seen that before.
I don't want one. They got them, though, at the Lauderdale County Farm Supply.
If you need a cooker for Sunday or this weekend, they've got those. Also, work boots galore and feed seed and all this for your hogs and cattle. They've got it. Guns and a whole lot more. Exit 151 off the interstate is where you'll find the Lauderdale County Farm Supply.
It was a Monday morning on our way to his first day of preschool. We were both nervous and excited. Then someone ran a stop sign. I called Richard Schwartz and he got us the money we deserved.
I'm here for you. One call, that's all.
Leaders and what
And welcome back, Scotty Ray and Candace, as we've got our special guest here, Chris Reed, this morning. And it's been interesting of what you do, how you handle folks within the police department, of what's going on in Meridian. Where do you turn to? What do you do? And he's been here graciously joining us to talk about that this morning. And wait a minute. I need to do this, Chris, and I don't mean to embarrass you, but it's been called to my attention that you've been cleaning up street by street as we go to this picture here. And this is Chris right here, street by street. It takes a second for it to show over there. He's starting at the bottom and working his way to the top.
Like I've said before, I am just an employee number like everyone else. I'm just the one that gets the blame for everything. But look, it is not beneath me to scoop up poop from a horse.
But it has to be done.
It has to be done, plain and simple.
When our crime numbers, are they down, below average? What do you know?
Right. So I did a study, and I never wanted to really kind of talk about it because it gives a you're missing the point that I was trying to make about why crime is so polarizing today. So I went back to 2002. Like actually, the mid 80s, we had Meridian had our highest crime rate that we had ever had. 1996, I believe, was another very high crime rate that we had, one of the highest that Meridian's ever had. But I did a study from 2002 to 2019. We just put an asterisk beside 2020. You don't want to use that to measure anything. Right. So I did it from 2002 to 2019. 2002 on the FBI crime rating, national crime rating, and every city and in every state has this crime rating. We were rated at 456. All right, and that was all crimes against person, property crimes, everything. Meridian was rated at 456, and then in 2009 we were rated at 656, which was very high, which was the highest from 2002 to 2019. 2019 we were at our lowest that we have been since 2002 during that period. But the only reason, and I looked at it, I'm going, well, my goodness, why is it so polarizing? Once I said we have instant social media, live stream, we see, and it's just, you're seeing it blasted out. And reality is the only thing that makes the news is someone's tragedy, a victim, negative. That's it. That's it. That's the only thing. You'll never watch a newscast where you hear nothing but positive.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's just human nature. Mm-hmm. We love someone else's tragedy. Except here. That's why I'm participating.
Yeah, we're always going to try to lift people up and hope that we can, people talk about it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a city to keep, the people of the city, everybody to keep the city going,
right?
And to build it back up.
Yeah, exactly. And I said this the other day in an interview. 98% of the citizens of Meridian and Lauderdale County want to enjoy themselves and want to feel safe at events and things and gatherings, especially when we just came out of 2020 where everything was just shut down and closed. And they want 98% of us. There's that 2%. All right, that choose that lifestyle, and but they do not realize the consequence that that the choices that they make not only affect them, but affect those around them. They don't realize until it's too late. And I mentioned it before. We always wait for something bad to happen before we change, implement, revise, or amend policy. Yeah. I'm just a big proponent of preventive maintenance. So I would rather tell someone, hey, your choices have consequences.
They do.
Now, if it only affects one person, and I may not ever know it, was it worth it? Yes, it was. It was worth it. Mm-hmm. But those choices that you make, that 2%, if you continue to choose to do that, there are consequences. And as long as I'm in this position, I'm going to give you the consequences.
Mm-hmm. Now, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You said that you had another point that you wanted to bring up before we get to the top of the hour.
Yeah. As far as, what Meridian specifically is having. When I first came in 8 months ago, we have what we call a police advisory board meeting, and it's comprised of what we consider community leaders out in the community and stuff. And they usually, it started coming in because, once again, I just came in 8 months ago.
Right.
And whenever law enforcement was just being literally hammered. And I'm talking, when I say there was some hate out there. And every time, we would ride by, people would flip us off, spit at
California howdy.
Yeah. And so it was very polarizing. So then you had members of the community coming in at the police advisory board, and we're trying to say, we need to do this, you need to be transparent. And I just got to the point, I said, let me start. Some of them were community pastors or whatever. And I said, well, let me ask you something. I said, why don't you define the word transparency? I've heard it my whole career. Define it. Do you need to walk in and look at an officer and say, are you can you see through them? What do you explain it? And they can't explain it. Right. So I told them, and I just got to the point, and I said, hey, let me tell you something. Just because you're sitting around this oval table at a police advisory meeting, it doesn't make you a community leader. Right. I said, where are you on 34th Avenue whenever I'm out there speaking with a victim or the victim's family and because of a tragedy? It's easy for you to come in once a month and sit at this table and tell me what I need to do, but then I don't ever see you in the community. Don't think you sitting around a table makes you a community leader. We have over 200 and something churches in Lauderdale and surrounding counties here. All right? Here,
Yes, we
I'll
do.
pass 12 churches to go and worship at a place. And the only reason I pass those 12 churches and I can't worship with them is because they look different than me.
That's right.
They interpret a certain verse different from me, so they must be wrong. We can't even come together as a church and as adults or whatever, and we're trying to teach our kids to act right, and we can't even act right.
That's one of the things I was fixing to bring up, and that might be a whole nother show. But the race thing, just like people, just because somebody doesn't look like you doesn't mean you got to put them down or give them a stereotype. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely. Look, whenever I said that God gave me this platform, I don't understand why, and it's not my place to try to figure it out why. His ways are not our ways.
Yes.
He just said, you do what I've called you to do, be obedient to that, and let me deal with everything else. Right. I've had opportunities to go in other churches and other parts of the community that I wouldn't been able to if I hadn't had this platform. And man, the support and they are no different than my family. Whether you're white, black, green, yellow, purple, or blue, whether you disagree, it's okay to agree to disagree. But we as adults, we're fighting a battle with our young people, and the reason we're making it hard on ourselves is because we can't even get along. If you disagree with me, then I'm going to bash you. I'm going to talk about you. They said that when I first got confirmed before city council. There was a certain city council member, I'm not going to mention his name, that bashed me. I'm talking and never even met me. And then I had someone in the administration come up to me and says, don't even answer him. You don't have to say anything. And I said, no, I got this. And I said, hey, we can agree to disagree. It's okay. I just look at this as an opportunity to change your mind. Right. Plain and simple. But a community leader are like your James Carters, your Ricky Hood that are in it, that you don't ever hear anything from them. But day after day after day after day, they're investing in the young people. Your Andre Harris's at Magnolia, they're having an event this weekend. Day after day after day, those are community leaders. Look, just because you have a pastor by your name doesn't make you a leader. Right. You have no problem sitting there. Oh, you done got the back of my neck hot. you have pastors that have no problem talking about law enforcement and talking about the community and we need to do this, we need to do that, but I've never seen them in the city. But on Sunday they're behind that pulpit counting the money in that plate.
This is the problem in this whole nation right now. You have these people that stir the pot. They stir the pot. They're steadily stirring the pot, and they're poisoning the mind. They're starting from the kids and going up. They're teaching these children at a young age that, because this person doesn't look like you, don't trust them or they're not going to be good to you. I just think that people need to come together. We all need to come together and not just talk about doing it, do it, and be good to each other. I mean, do something for somebody. They don't have to be your best friend, help somebody out. You don't even have to know them.
That's true.
I agree.
So I just think it needs to be more of that. Because there is more good in this world than there is bad.
It is, but it is so easy.
Yeah.
It is so easy to talk about it.
Right, it is. And it's
And
hard
never
to
do it.
Well, don't lose that thought. We'll be right back and have some more on that. As we turn, I'm going to have a long talk with these boys out at Freeman Tractor because, well, they're closing today and they're not going to open back up until the 12th. They want to take a vacation for some reason next week.
Goodness.
They're going to be out, but they'll be back with a bang when it comes to the 12th. They're taking the week off to eat more watermelon and hamburgers, and, well, they got lawnmowers for you when they come back to work. They'll be working on all this. They're getting ready. Skag, one of the #1 brands in America. It is the #1 brand. If you need one of these, check it out, including all the different style sizes. As we look at tractors, very few left because there's been a run on it. They're expecting a new shipment any day now to arrive at Freeman Tractor. If you're needing the attachments to where you put on the front of your tractor, use a bush hog on your bucket, that's handy. They've got that. Of course, all this is galvanized. If you've never seen one of these before, a galvanized bush hog, which means it's not going to rust. Handy, handy, handy. One of the new things. As we go through all the different types, we've got the Benchy, which is made in Texas. If you're looking for an ATV, a lot of these also. You can choose the different styles with AC heaters. Also, the 550, 750 series. Plenty of these to choose from with different colors and, well, the job that you're looking for. Buttermilk will help you out. He'll get you into a lawnmower or a tractor, whatever it is, from just a blade to a belt to a tractor. They've got it. Freeman Tractor, see them today. Highway 494.
We had plans to start a family. When an 18-wheeler hit us, our plans got put on hold. We made one call and Richard Schwartz stepped in, and he was able to help get us the money we needed to fully recover.
I'm here for you. One call, that's all.
You know, if I hit buttons, it's a lot quicker. The Precast Group. This is one of the folks that take care of you when bad weather. And that's what a large majority of my life is dedicated to is, well, bad weather. And that's what they do at the Precast Group, getting you ready with a storm shelter. There's 2 different styles to choose from. They do different things here. They can put this in your home if you're building it and you build your house around it. Now, if you've already got your home built, this could be set right out back. It's storm-proof. It weighs 20,000 pounds, not going to go anywhere. It gives you comfort. It gives you safety. That's what it's there for. Design it any way you want on the inside. And, of course, you can choose this style to where it's sunk in the ground. The Precast Group can show you more. It's very, very affordable. And peace of mind is a great thing that we've got here with the Precast. This is one that's sunk in behind somebody's house. Plenty of models to choose from. They've got more pictures they can show you. Show the exact model there. See it. It's the Precast Group for all your storm shelters. Here in Meridian, 482-003 is the number to call. And welcome back with Scotty Ray Candace, our special guest that's been hiding over here behind Mike, too. But, you know, as we talked about community things, and I know this is coming up this month, Love Out Loud, where all the churches are going through and going to help the community. Boy, what a good thing for us.
Oh, most definitely. It causes you to get out of your seat at the house, get out of being behind the phone and your smartphone and giving your opinion but never doing anything about it. It gives you an opportunity to actually come out and put your words into action. I've had so many groups reach out to me and they want to come. One's coming Tuesday to just bring lemonade to the police department. Look, it's not about the lemonade. It has nothing to do with the lemonade. God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. So much can be done just by that gesture of showing thank you. And it means so much to us. But it's just getting the community. Involved. It's easy to sit in behind the pew. It's easy to sit behind that pulpit and talk about what's wrong. But he says to go. He didn't say to stay and expect the world to come to you. He says to go out. And so we're seeing that. And but, you know, we still have a ways to go. We still have a ways to go as leaders, so-called leaders, is, put your words into actions.
So what's your, as we go toward the top of the hour here, what's your words to the criminals of Meridian? What is coming for them?
Yeah, so the word for the criminals, look, we've kind of intercepted a couple of recordings where the word, I guess, what we say on the street is, man, I'm getting out of the game. I'm actually going into the trucking business. Said they're not playing around. The feds are in town. And I have such an awesome, Meridian Police Department has such an awesome working relationship with all of our federal partners. I was TFO through the FBI, and so all of our federal entities, anywhere from FBI, DEA, HSI, ATF, and U.S. Marshals, are partnered and have MOU agreements with Meridian Police Department. And so it supplements our detective division. It supplements our patrol division. I have access to 25 to 30 boots on the ground at any given time. They're available 24/7. We're able to utilize their resources and stuff. And so when we have warrants, violent offenders that we have warrants for, weapons, felony and possession and things of that nature, that we have them come in. And if it crosses that crime crosses that federal jurisdiction, then I want the federal prosecution, not only the state but the federal prosecution. And so the word is out on the streets, just like the cameras, just like your alarm sign in your yard or whatever. It's a deterrent,
right?
And so when you see that, they're getting more time. They're not just going through the system saying, "Yeah, I'll be out in 2 hours" or whatever. Are there still individuals out there that are still going to take a chance? Yes, they are. You know why? Because it said it 2,000 years ago. The love of money is the root of all evil. I just need a little bit more.
I've just decided to put a picture of Hillary for my protection. I think that scares most people when they pull up. Don't mess with the Clintons because they will get you. I was looking back on this, and I wanted to mention this. And I know you watched Gunsmoke as a kid, but this guy is having a birthday today. Ken Curtis Festus was born on this date. Now, he passed away back in 91. But, boy, I liked old Kurt. He was such a good guy on there.
I promise you, Gunsmoke, the Rifleman, man, my goodness, my all-time favorite. When I was in Iraq and we were running missions going throughout, we would come back and my wife would send me and ship me a whole series on Andy Griffith, and that's my all-time favorite. I promise you, my goal is to be able to walk around Meridian Police Department, if I'm still the chief here in the next week or two, is to walk around without a gun.
And that would be good, wouldn't it?
Oh, it's going to happen.
Also on this date, and of course, we all knew Richard Petty. Richard Petty's birthday was today. He was born in 1937. Of course, Richard Petty's still around with us. One of the greatest, 7-time Daytona winner. That don't happen every day.
No.
Let's see here. Elvis went into the studio and recorded Hound Dog and Don't Be Cruel on this day back in, 56 there. It was take 31 that they kept of Hound Dog that made the record. You wouldn't think of how many times you have to record
take
something.
31 from Elvis.
Yeah. So as we look at this, King Creole was premiered on this day back in 1958. Also, you got to remember this, 1977, and I remember it down at the Royal Theater there of Rocky. That came about on this date. It hit the theaters on this date.
I actually remember watching it. But in '77, I was still sleeping on plastic sheets. I had just gotten out of cloth diapers.
Now, and I don't care who you are, this movie was one of the funniest that ever hit it. Do y'all remember Airplane?
Yes.
Yeah, with what was his name? Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen.
Naked Gun 33 and a half guy. He was so funny.
He was funny.
And all through that movie, wasn't that the day that they said, I picked the wrong day to quit sniffing glue, or I quit it was just so funny. And then your wife is horsing around and they cut to it and there's a horse laying in the bed. I mean, come on. Who comes up with this comedy?
Yeah, we need to go back to those.
Y'all remember this little girl, Ashley Tisdale? She was a big star on that TV show on Nickelodeon. Mm-hmm. Also, Lindsay Lohan. I ain't heard from her in umpteen dozen years.
I think, she's kind of one of those that went nuts, I think, for a little while.
She had some issues.
One of those little...
I'm going to politically correct. I'm not going to say nuts. I'll say cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, she kind of... is out there, I think.
Yeah, and one of my all-time heroes passed away on this date. Jimmy Stewart passed away on this date back in 97, and I spelled his name wrong. It's Jimmy instead of Jimmy. I just caught that little typo there. And Michael Jackson broke a record on this date. We'll leave it with this on this topic there. First person ever to have 5 number ones off a record. Mm-hmm. 1988 was the date that happened. So, there.
Look, are we all in agreement that this would have been a good place for him to stop?
Yeah.
The plastic surgery.
Yeah, because he had a nose and a whole 9 yards there.
Yeah.
He had plastic surgery?
Oh.
You never noticed, did you?
I didn't.
Poor little fella. He just, when I watched that interview and he was in a tree thinking he was Peter Pan, I knew that something wasn't right.
Something wasn't right.
Because it got
but
crazy.
He was an all-time great, He really was
credit
good
is
at what he did, but
now I just never credited when Prince passed away. They were trying to compare him to Elvis, and I didn't see that in Prince. Did I miss something?
I mean, he was a big star, but I don't think it compared to Elvis.
Yeah, actually, that album of Michael Jackson, and I actually had gotten that for Christmas. And
really?
That was during the time of the parachute pants and the Reeboks with a double Velcro strap or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you have parachute pants?
I did.
I did too.
I had a mullet with a perm in it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I had a perm. My mother was a hairdresser, and I didn't get to go like all y'all other girls to the shop and get your hair done. I had to get my perms at home and lean my head over the bathtub. Not fun. Not fun at all. But I did. I had turquoise parachute pant outfit with hot pink zippers. Look out.
You know, the pictures of me when I was in school, that's how I actually attracted my wife. As I showed her those pictures when we were dating, she said, I have got to have him.
We'd like to thank each of you for coming by and visiting a little with us this morning. Chris, thank you for being here.
Yes.
We can't thank you enough. Everybody be safe. It's the 4th of July. Remember what this holiday is about. And we're going to come back Monday, and you got to come back and visit with us again.
Most definitely. Look, come out to Bonita. We're going to have an awesome time. And I greatly appreciate this opportunity because it's been a hectic week, and this is just an opportunity to relax and enjoy and have a good time and good fellowship with y'all. So I appreciate it.
See y'all Monday. Thanks a bunch.
Scotty Ray's weather is brought to you by